Aloha kako. I'm Ken Conklin, speaking from my humble apartment in Kaneohe, Hawaii. Hawaii has a reputation as the land of aloha. People of all races live, work, play, and pray side by side. Hawaii is the state with the highest rate of interracial marriage and people of multiple racial heritages. But Hawaii also has a master race. Hawaii's favorite racial group is ethnic Hawaiians. People who have at least one drop of Hawaiian native blood make up 20% of our population. Two branches of the state government serve them exclusively, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. Over 160 federally funded programs are racially exclusionary for ethnic Hawaiians. The wealthiest private school system in America, Kamehameha Schools, has between $9 and $15 billion in assets and allows only ethnic Hawaiians to enroll. And now, to defend this Hawaiian apartheid system against civil rights lawsuits, the Akaka bill is proposed in Congress. The bill would create a phony Indian tribe whose only requirement for membership is to have at least one drop of Hawaiian native blood. The bill says that requirement would be enforced by having a group of professional genealogists to certify each member's pedigree. The Akaka bill's full title, Native Hawaiian Government Reorganization Bill, implies that once upon a time there was a Native Hawaiian government that will now be reorganized. But the truth is, there was never a unified nation of Hawaii that included all the Hawaiian Islands and was exclusively for Native Hawaiians. Nothing like what the Akaka bill proposes ever existed. So there's nothing there to be reorganized. People with no Hawaiian native blood helped to create the Kingdom of Hawaii and held important leadership positions throughout the entire history of the kingdom. There never would have been a unified Kingdom of Hawaii except for Caucasians from Britain whose money, technology, and expertise allowed Kamehameha the Great to defeat all his enemies. Caucasians from America then brought a written language, Christian religion, and system of law and property ownership that allowed everyone to thrive. Japanese and Chinese contributed their sweat equity on the sugar plantations and small businesses. They were joined later by Filipinos, Koreans, and others. Kamehameha the Great was the first native in more than 1,000 years who was ever able to unify all the Hawaiian Islands under a single ruler. He was able to succeed only because of 3 decades of newly introduced British ships, guns, and cannons, and the expertise of British men who knew how to use them. Kamehameha's chief advisor was John Young, an Englishman given the Hawaiian name Olohana. Young was so important that Kamehameha appointed him to the position of governor of Kamehameha's home island, the Big Island, and gave him land and a house immediately next to the great sacred Pu'ukohola Heiau. John Young was the only chief to be honored in that way. John Young's tomb is in the Royal Mausoleum with the kings and is individually guarded with a pair of pulo'ulo'u, the sacred taboo sticks. John Young's son was Kuhina Nui under Kamehameha's son, King Kauikeaoli Kamehameha III. Kuhina Nui was the second most powerful position in the kingdom. All laws were required to be signed by 2 men, the king and the Kuhina Nui. The second constitution of the kingdom, proclaimed in 1852, had only 2 signatures, Kamehameha Rex, that's King Kamehameha, and Keoniana, that's John Young II's Hawaiian name, which means John Jr., Keoniana. John Young's granddaughter grew up to become Queen Emma, the wife of King Alexander Liholiho Kamehameha IV. She founded Queen's Hospital and St. Andrew's Cathedral. In 1840, King Kauikeaoli Kamehameha III proclaimed Hawaii's first constitution. The first sentence declares, "God created all people to be of one blood, to dwell on earth in unity and blessedness." That's the Kokokahi sentence, one blood. Kingdom law said that non-natives who are born in the kingdom or who immigrate and become naturalized were fully equal with natives. From 1840 through the end of the kingdom in 1893, European and American Caucasians, both native-born in Hawaii and naturalized, had full voting rights and property rights. Caucasians were appointed and elected to the legislature, sometimes comprising more than 1/4 of its members, both nobles and representatives. Caucasians held most cabinet positions, appointed by the kings and confirmed by the legislature. Nearly all department heads and judges were Caucasians. As Japanese and Chinese came to Hawaii, some Japanese and many Chinese became naturalized subjects of the kingdom with voting rights. During the last few years of the kingdom, all Caucasians of European or American ancestry who resided in the kingdom were given voting rights regardless whether they became naturalized or not. By 1893, at the time of the Hawaiian Revolution which overthrew the monarchy, only 40% of Hawaii's people had 1 drop or more of native blood. Only 40%. In 1900, following annexation, the first U.S. census of Hawaii counted only 26% of the population as having any native blood. The Kingdom of Hawaii was multiracial right from its founding. Caucasians and later Asians became full partners with voting rights and important leadership positions in government. That's why it's historically and morally wrong to propose a so-called Native Hawaiian Government Reorganization Bill to create a racially exclusionary government which never existed in Hawaii. To find out how big a threat the Akaka bill is, please read my book, Hawaiian Apartheid, available from Amazon.com. Portions of it can be read for free on my website. Mahalo yaoi I ko'oko ho'oloheana mai ia'u. Thank you for listening to me. Aloha.